Hey, hello, here we are. Ha, what the hell is this?
I'm trying to
What was that little bit?
I'm doing like the visuals. You're doing the auditorials. The audios.
Never mind. I'm sorry I fucking asked. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Coffee Breath Show, live here on twitch.tv/coffeebreath every Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, where we get up to no good live here from Bar Coffeebreath. And you know what? It's been a great run of guests recently. We've had a lot of great guests. You know, we've had a ton of success just flying people into Los Angeles and putting them right here in a maybe 1 foot radius of us, and we like to breathe on each other before we start the show and all of that. Yeah, so that's been going really well, and so we thought, there's only 2 of us here tonight. The rest of our crew is dead again. And so we...
Again.
Yeah, again. They continue to be dead. And so we brought in a dear friend of mine and also Parks' Jacob Wolf, the one and only himself, Esports Journalist of the Year 2018, my former co-worker at ESPN Esports.
Are you done?
I'm fucking... Did you just interrupt my intro? Is that...
Anyway, Jacob's a really cool guy. We're really happy to have him on here. Everyone in the chat, we're excited to see you. If you are old, if you are young, if you are new, if you know Jacob, then that's great. We're happy to have him. We also know Jacob, so we're alike in that way. If you don't know Jacob, there's some things that I don't know about Jacob that also apparently you don't, because you don't know him.
No, my
so
intro
we're also
was better.
alike in that way. And so anyway, we're Jacob, it's been Dan, now it's been me. We're going to move on over. Now it's your turn. Would you like to talk?
Jacob, let the people know who you are. Oh, fuck. Yeah, wait, there we go. Look at that. Wow.
I love it. Fantastic graphics. Whereas we were able to use the same HAL for the EG show as the ESPN show because it's a royalty-free sound. So I should have sent you that. Anyway, hi, I'm Jacob Wolf. I'm the chief reporter and investigative lead at Dot Esports. What that fancy schmancy title essentially means, more or less, is that I'm an investigative reporter who also has some responsibilities with helping other less experienced journalists and my new colleagues dive into investigative work of their own. As Dan mentioned, I'm the 2018 Esports Awards Journalist of the Year.
Hell fucking yeah, you are, brother.
Yeah!
Let's go!
That's behind the green screen, although normally in shot. Yeah, and I've been doing esports journalism for a little bit more than 6 years, and enjoy every minute of it.
Every minute? I feel like that's a lie.
That might be what we're talking about tonight.
Okay. Well, I didn't enjoy I didn't enjoy last year. But other than that, good.
All right, you got the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
There are a couple minutes every once in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 minute out of every day. Just one minute.
Yeah, every now and then we all have those moments. I was thinking we weren't really sure what we were gonna do today on the show. If this is your first time joining us, every week we have like a different bit here that we do at the bar, some stupid new thing that we're up to with our usually live panel of co-hosts. But we weren't quite sure what we wanted to do this week, and I was like, oh, maybe we should interview someone. That'd be fun. And then Jacob reached out and wanted to come on the show. Thank you for that. It's an honor that you're such a big fan, and really great that I can make a fan's dream by bringing you on. But I thought, this guy's been interviewed a million fucking times. Everyone knows who he is. People know about him, so interviewing him, that's nothing new. That's old news. What I want to do is I want to share some war stories. I want to hear the bad shit. No one ever talks about the bad shit. They always talk about the good shit. Let's get a little negative tonight, boys. What do you think?
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down.
I'm down.
It doesn't have to be bad shit. It doesn't have to be negative, but a look back on a very different side of the story that you don't always hear. I want to talk a little bit about some of our worst stories working in esports. This is not normally an esports centric show, but it naturally has that crossover with who Parks and I are and what we do for a living. And so, yeah, we're doing a little esports after dark this week. And if you're a longtime viewer of the show who maybe isn't the biggest esports fan, I think you'll still find some of these stories fascinating because we have seen some shit in our lives. Working in a young industry like esports where there's no rules and it only has existed for like the better part of a decade in a real like honest to God way, it's a lot of weird shit happens sometimes. It can be very different. So I know that we all have some great stories. I know Parks has some fucking surreal ones. Some of the most atomic ones of anyone I know. But Jacob, I'm sure you have a lot too. We didn't really talk about this coming into it beforehand, but I just assumed that you would have some kinds of stories to share here. I think anyone who's worked in esports as long as you have would have those kinds of stories.
Look, Liz, you had a great take earlier when you said this is a lot of words for Dan, just that Dan forgot to prepare a show. That's true. However,
yeah, and
the take about none of this being fascinating is just fucking wrong. Like, you need to realize this, and you need to realize it fast. Because this shit is funny, and it's interesting, and it's tragic, and it involves me, your favorite person in 689.
Wait, do not say our address on the fucking show. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Well, that's a zip code.
Jacob, now that we've gotten that out of the way, oh boy.
It's been a long week. My brain is fried. I'm sorry.
We gotta start talking about something else before Parks just fucking doxes us live on Twitch. Jesus Christ, this show's always something different. Jacob, do you have a story to start us off with, or should we get one of ours first? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I had to make the show interesting. I had to keep the guests on their toes, and by guests I mean Dan.
While you're thinking, basically what I'm picturing is like, you know, we're not here to drag anyone. We're not here to like, fuck anyone's career up.
Should I tell you about the one night that I worked at the Square Esports, and I mean one night, like actually one night?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait,
so
yes,
I was a contributor to the Square Esports for like one day, and it is arguably. It was the first of many frustrations with people in esports journalism. And okay, so I'll rewind for a second. So this is early 2016. As before my first stint at Dot. And actually without this night, as bad as this story is, it was the night that actually got me noticed by Dot the first time and like kicked off a lot of my career. So like it led to good things, but it was like actually awful. So I'll just like tell it how it is. So the Score launched that year in 2016, and their first year, or their first like opening thing, a bunch of their editors, notably Matt Dimmers, who ended up, he was like head of content at EG for a while. I don't think he's there anymore, but was at the Score, was part of their founding team alongside like Slasher and a few other editors. And I won't mince my words. I've never met one person with more of a stick up their ass and in terms of entitlement. Like from the very beginning, he went and did some interview on a pod with like 3 other people and basically said like, he said what Upcomer said today in a press release in the most arrogant fucking way possible of like, we're here, everyone else is TMZ, fuck you. Basically about esports journalism. And if you know anything about this point in time in esports journalism, like Dot Esports was the fucking holy grail. Like Richard Lewis, Josh Raven, like Patrick Howell O'Neill, who now works for the MIT Review, William Turton, who works at Bloomberg. Like these guys were out there like cranking fucking esports stories and just like nailing everybody to the wall. And this is right around the same time the iBuyPower scandal was ousted by Richard Lewis. And he's like out there just like, fuck everybody, we're gonna be the real thing. You're TMZ. Like the same, like we're going to be better than everyone else, but in the worst way to say that possible. Like absolutely terrible. And so I was kind of already going into this idea of working as a contributor or like contributing to the show pretty negatively. But I had been like volunteering, and this will be one of my other stories throughout the night, but I had been volunteering for Esports Heaven. First place that ever gave me a shot to write, and I ended up like breaking a big story that there was a scrim leak scandal by the player who is now known as Diamond on FlyQuest, but at the time his name is TSM Teaser. So he was part of TSM Darkness, which was their academy team, and he had leaked scrims to Team Fusion of CLP Black.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is the first time I have ever heard of TSM Darkness. Was that a real thing?
Yeah, it was an academy team. So it was their like challenger or one of the teams they were playing an amateur with, And it was like 5 guys, a few of them that eventually went to play the LCS. I think he's the only one that still plays in the LCS. Diamond is the FlyQuest support. But back then he was an AD carry known as Teaser. And he basically he recorded footage, and then also he was live streaming on Hitbox, the streaming service, and handing the link to Team Fusion before their matches with CLG Black. And so they were getting like access to a ton of scrims and like communicating about it. Like it was this whole thing. And I broke the story. Like I broke it open, and I got like comment from Hotshot about like sort of the repercussions of this when they found out, and like got onto the inside scoop of the whole entire scandal. And then the story that I ended up working with Neelu Singham on the score for, Do Raven, who was one of the bigger journalists back then, we worked together because I had the story that so TSM fired all of those players, and 4 of them, the ones that didn't leak scrim footage, said that they were going to sue TSM for wrongful termination, and I had them on the record saying that. Wow. And so I took it to the score because I wanted to get paid for it. I liked Neelu and I wanted to work with him on it. And they held that piece until about 2 a.m. for no other reason than it was going to make TSM upset. And it was the most bullshit evening I've ever had. I've never been more mad at one person than I was at Matt Dimmers that evening. And I am very young in my journalism career. And they wanted to hold the story. I had Arc Second and all the players on the record saying that they were going to sue one of the biggest franchises in all of esports. And they were like, nope, it'll make them mad. Like, we can't publish that. And I, like, screaming match. Like, in my mom's living room. I'm, like, 18 years old. And I'm pissed, just like pissed. And it finally went out at like 2 a.m. and Dot reached out to me maybe the following week. Kevin Morris reached out to me and we started talking, and I ended up becoming a contractor at Dot. And I normally when you leave like a freelance gig, you don't you just stop, right? You just stop writing. But like I literally went back to them and I was like, I want you to terminate in writing my freelance agreement with the Score Esports because I don't want anything to do with you ever again. I was
damn, that's cold as hell.
I was angry, dude, because like I had that story dead to rights. I broke every bit of it for Esports Heaven. I had the one piece that was good. And honestly, I'm pretty sure I did another story on the same situation after, and I wrote it for free for Esports Heaven because I fucking hated the score so much. And this guy's like out there like talking about ethics and everything publicly and like calling Dot TMZ and everything. I was just like, nah, dude, fuck you. Like, I'm gonna go publish this for free at Esports Heaven because I don't want to deal with your bullshit. Like, and yeah, like that was one of the first big scandals I ever covered in my career. And dude was out there telling people how great they were at ethics and then wouldn't publish it because it would make TSM mad.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. I also just, not to take away from that story, but I can't get over how fucking awful of a name TSM Darkness is. I actually cannot believe they put a team
and CLG Black.
Yeah, CLG Black.
TSM Darkness.
I don't like that either. Yeah. I don't like some of these academy names. We gotta revisit those.
What was the C9 one? Was it C9 White?
They field a C9 White in Valorant now, which I also think is I don't know. That's neither here nor there.
Samsung
C9
White
Tempest.
And Samsung
That's right.
Blue.
That's right, Nick. C9 Tempest.
I thought there was
always
a color.
Kind of sound, those color
C9
names
had like 3 or 4 teams. I swear one of them was a color.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Those color names always kind of sat wrong with me. I don't know. I feel like just come up with something else. Just C9 Academy.
TSM Darkness.
TSM Dark. Yeah, we're not TSM's Academy team. We're the dark side of TSM. We're the shadow TSM. Like,
but yeah, I mean, like he was Diamond. Like he would probably admit this if you interviewed him now. Like he fucked up. He literally he cheated. Yeah. He helped another team cheat. And Keaton Cryer, who went on to manage Optic and Immortals, was involved in this because he was at Fusion at the time. He got in trouble because he was the one talking to Teaser. There was like a meme that went around back in like old TeamSpeaks because he like asked, did they pick Karthus or whatever, was like one of the, and so everybody was like, did they pick Karthus? Did they pick Karthus? He laughs about this now, Keaton does, but I bet you if you asked Diamond, he would talk about it too. But yeah, that like
so
100% happened, and I had it fucking dead to rights, and I had an editor tell me that they wouldn't publish because they were afraid of making a team mad.
Hey, I'd be afraid of TSM too. You'd be unleashing the dark side.
The darkness.
That's
making
the last
TSM mad is like one thing, but making TSM darkness mad, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's dangerous.
Well, once you make TSM mad, then they awaken to the TSM darkness, and then it just takes over, and they become a beast, and you just don't want to fuck with that.
That's pretty scary.
Pro tip for esports journalists: don't hold back publishing something because the team will be upset. Just fucking do it.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you're publishing bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're right, like the context they're reading, if you're right, again, I had players on the record, like verbatim, right? Like literally interviewed them, and I was like, I don't know what more to say.
Nick, are you good, bro? Yes, I can do a fucking handstand.
Chat really wants Parks to do a handstand. No,
I'm so
dude,
good at
absolutely not. Dude, you're gonna knock some shit over. This bar is way too.
Sorry, I don't want to hurt Jacob. Sorry, Jacob, for
yeah.
I bumped into you there.
You're gonna bump into Jacob.
That's my bad.
Give him some personal space. Dude.
Yeah, no, that's my bad, Nick. I already apologized.
I told you we have to stay 1 feet away from each other and not breathe into each other's mouths.
I hope that's a good starting point for our awful fucking stories.
That's a pretty hot one.
I have like a take on your story though, because you definitely lied at least once. You said something about that was like some sort of glory days or something for Dot, and you were like, oh, they had Richard Lewis, but you realize who they have today? Hello? They have Jacob Wolf.
True.
The
any truers in the chat? Absolutely.
Any truers about Mr. Wolf himself?
Yeah, I think the golden days of Dot Esports are just happening right now.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't peak.
I mean, I feel similarly, but nonetheless, I like that was a big moment. Like, especially as I see myself. The way that I view myself in like the line of, I guess, like succession in esports journalism, like reporting specifically, like there was Richard, there was Slasher, there was Josh Raven, and there was Neely Do Raven, and like I was the last of those guys to like break in that period of time, and like somehow have ended up. Don't know if I want to say I'm the most successful, but certainly like I think I'm the only one that has a full-time job doing reporting still, because a lot of Richard's work is more opinion stuff, but. Like, I don't think any of those guys, like Josh doesn't have a full-time job in journalism. Slasher doesn't either. And Neely went on to be like software engineer. So yeah, like I think I was the last in that sort of list. So it was like, it was a big deal to me to like, cause actually like Dot, and I'm not shitting on anybody. This made a ton of sense at the time. Dot hired Josh over me originally, and he had been doing this for like 2.5 years, 3 years. I'd been doing it for like 4 months. Made a ton of sense at the time, but they actually came back after the score thing and hired me, like made some moves to make money to hire me, which I appreciate immensely because my year there the first time got me to ESPN. So like I can't, like good times.
We love ESPN.
Big fan of that company here at Bar Coffeebreath.
I'll tell you a story about ESPN. I once got hired to do a freelance gig for ESPN on a particular clan called Faze, the Faze clan.
Not familiar with their work.
Yeah, I don't know. Pretty small org out there doing some shootery games. Yeah, I was told to cover a big event that they had done. They did a bit, Faze. I think someone in the chat.
Did you get paid for this work?
So here's the deal. I researched and prepped and went to a location where a large interview and photo shoot thing was supposed to happen, and the clan of Faze did not show up for 2 hours. They then said, yo, my bad. Hey, Mr. Reporter dude, we're going to do it later. So then I left. They then apologized later in an email saying, yeah, we all got angry at each other because some dude like had some other girlfriend, something, blah, blah, blah. So they all were fighting in between. They had like a little inner party of angry words. And then they never put the event back on, ever, at all. And so
Did you get paid for your effort, Parks?
I did not at all get paid by the mouse. I was not.
This is very interesting to
I was
me.
never paid by Mr. Mickey himself. However, I do have photos of where the event could have happened. So
I'm just picturing
I
Parks
got paid.
walking around this empty ass event venue, just taking pictures of some empty chairs.
Guys, I was here. I need to prove that I was here. They weren't, but I was.
All the fancy cars were there. They had like literally 3 Lamborghinis on site with like all these decals and shit on it, like nice stuff. So I have all the pictures, and I've got like the streetwear and all the other shit that was at this place. But yeah, I got paid in exposure, and by that I mean I put the camera down to like 2.8 and took some
Oh,
pics.
that's a good one.
Yeah,
Parks.
that's a good one. That's a good
He's talking about the
one.
Good
camera exposure.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my only ESPN story. Well, actually, I have some others, but that's the one that I'll tell.
Well, I obviously have a lot of those.
Do you have any?
I'm not sure how many of them I should tell on the stream. I do want to call out that
All the
Liz,
bad rules.
our fellow host of the show, Liz, who can't join us tonight but is in the chat. She actually does not work in esports, but has a hilarious story about her one professional encounter with the FaZe Clan as a freelance cinematographer, which is great. And so maybe if we have some time after, we'll have her call in and tell that story because it's kind of surreal.
His story too.
Yeah, I see Quest there as well. Thank you all for joining us. I see a lot of new faces in the chat. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Appreciate having you here on twitch.tv/CoffeeBreath.
Where are you seeing their faces?
What?
Can I try on your glasses?
Yeah.
Was that like a thing? Sorry, one sec. He's got like the new Google Glass or something. Oh shit, y'all are fucking pretty. Oh my god.
Yo, goddamn, are you blind or some shit?
No, actually, I don't really need the glasses, but those hurt to look through. Are you okay?
Yours hurt to look through.
In any case, everyone,
Balls
please,
over here.
please. Also, I feel like we need to redo the camera. I feel like
Redo what?
Like you're like out of focus.
I'm out of focus?
Oh,
Fuck
it's because I didn't have my glasses on.
no fucking way.
We're
No
chilling.
actual fucking way did you just take your glasses
Anyway.
off and look at the camera and be like, it's out of focus,
out of
dude.
focus.
Anyway,
Fix it.
this show's really good when we are just full of testosterone. Just 3 men up here being really good at life and living and
Yeah, this
smart.
is just guys being This is what happens when you remove
Yeah.
all of the female hosts from the panel.
Yeah, we just get just so much brain power and energy into understanding how the world works, happens at this
Balance
here
us
bar.
out, someone, please.
Anyway,
Um,
another story.
yeah, I do have. I'll tell you guys an older story about how I.
Liz said you're soft, Dan.
Don't call me soft. I'm hard as fuck. Everybody knows me knows that I'm hard as fuck. Anyway, this is a story from I think people will want to hear some like some old school stories as well, like some like how we got here type
You're
of
like
shit.
18 years old.
Yeah, I know.
How do you have an old school story?
Cause I've been doing this shit since you were in fucking diapers, kid. Who the fuck are you?
You were literally not even a concept in your parents' fucking brains when I was in diapers.
Okay, Grandpa, tell me some more about the war. I've got, this isn't like a wild story, but like a funny way that I ended up working at an event that I was not supposed to work at, basically. Before I was working in esports, when like no one knew who I was and people didn't want to talk to me and shit, I was in college in Boston, and I was making this talk
I
show.
have a Boston story. I want to hear this.
This is a fun one. It's related to PAX. So I was making this like gaming related talk show. It's called Game and Talk. It's still on our YouTube channel if you're subscribed on there. Great time to go subscribe to our YouTube channel. But I was making this show while I was in college, and I really wanted to. It was like very like timely for what we wanted to do. We needed to shoot something at PAX. Like we really wanted to be there, and so I couldn't get us tickets because it was sold out. And I only had to make this, I was making a 6-episode long show that was 30 minutes episodes each. So it was like a long ass thing over a course of a semester, and I only had $1,000 of budget. And so we spent most of that on stupid costumes and shit in our set. And so when it came time to actually go to, we were like talking like, oh yeah, we got to shoot at PAX. Like, of course, like that'll be like the last episode we go to PAX. And then time comes to actually get tickets to PAX and they sell out immediately. And I can't afford to get them off a scalper because I'm a broke college kid and I already spent most of my budget for the show, which was given to me by the school. And I lied to them about what I was spending it on. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but we needed to get into PAX. And so at the time,
God damn it, Liz.
At the time, I also, this is a story for another day, but I shot a furry convention as well for this series, and that was a fucking trip. But we needed to get to PAX, and at the time I was playing a lot of Street Fighter. I mean, I still do. It's like my favorite game. I always play Street Fighter, but at the time I was like competing in it like very frequently in like the New England area and even outside of that as well. And so somehow like through a friend of a friend, I got connected with, I'm pretty sure it was CSL, Collegiate Star League. Is that it? That's a place,
that sounds right?
Yeah. So for some, they don't fuck with fighting games really. I think they might a little bit, but like they basically, for whatever reason, wanted to try to get into Street Fighter because this was the year Street Fighter 5 came out, and so it was really hot. And they were like, oh, like let's try to get into Street Fighter. We have, for whatever reason, we have a 2-hour long block of time on the main Twitch stage at PAX. Let's put on a collegiate Street Fighter tournament. Little did they know, in Boston at the time, there were probably 6 people that were college-age students that played Street Fighter, and I was one of them. Everybody else was like either way older or played Smash. And so I somehow they found one of my friends, and then they were like, hey, we want to put on like a tournament. Can you like get more college kids? And he was like, there's not enough. We can do like an exhibition maybe. And they were like, sure. And so they reached out to me and they were like, hey, can you be a part of this Street Fighter exhibition at PAX? And I was like, yes, if you can get me and my crew in there to shoot it. And they said, okay, let us see what we can do. And they couldn't, but at that point I had already agreed to doing it. So I showed up and I'm playing Street Fighter on the main stage of PAX. Fucking wild experience. And I needed to get my cameraman in there at least to shoot with me. We gave up on trying to get a whole crew in there, but I was like, all right, I'm at least going to get my cameraman in there. And so the way that we did it was that I had they fucked up and they accidentally gave me an exhibitioner's badge instead of a guest badge, which basically means you can just do whatever the fuck you want. And so I figured out that there was a special entrance for people with the exhibitioner badge. And so I went to, I basically scouted the location for like 4 hours, and then my I got there early and like saw, like checked out what was up with the place. And I was like, I told my friend, hey, show up there with a camera in like 2 hours and I'm gonna find some way to get your ass in here. And he was like, okay. And so I found this side entrance that I could get in with my badge. And so what I did was my other friend who had a badge at the time, like it was like the exhibition was like me and 3 other players that I was friends with all of them. And so they all, like, for some reason gave us these special badges. And so we were like in the backstage, like warming up, and I was like, I went to my homie and I was like, hey, can I borrow your badge for a second? And he's like, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the like classic like he's with me. I've done that at so many events where I have some like high level access and I'm just like he's with me and they just like rush past.
I actually did that, so thank you for reminding me, because I forgot that that's why I thought of taking his badge. So at first I went out and I met my friend at the back door, and I was like, the security guard was there. He was like hard locking it down. I was like, hey, I have a booth at PAX. This guy is he's part of my team, my company staff. I need to get him in here. Like, we forgot his badge inside. Can he come in? And he was like, no, this dude's got like a whole camera and shit. Like, no fucking way. I'm just letting him walk in here. And I was like, yeah, dude, come on. Like, look, I have a badge. Like, I run the, I told him something so funny. I made up a name of a video game. I was like, I run the like Gambit Quest booth. Can you let me in? We have like one of the biggest booths there. Like, come on, just let me in, dude. And he was like, no. And so I was like, all right, fine. I'll go find his badge and I'll be right back. So that's when I went backstage and I yoinked my friend's badge and I walked out there and I like looked the security guard in the eyes and I was like, here you go, buddy. Here's your badge. I'm so sorry that you forgot that inside. Like, it's such an unfortunate situation that you forgot that. The security guard knew exactly what the fuck was up. He was like, fuck this kid, but there's nothing I can do about it. Because those badges were just like an all-access pass to get in there. And we also didn't have press pass. Like, you needed a press pass to have a camera of like a certain size there. And we were like rocking some serious fucking equipment in this place. And so I had to like body block my camera guy so that the security guards wouldn't, because they kept coming up to us and being like,
it's a good thing you have such a frame.
Yeah, you know me. I'm built like a fucking truck. And the security guards kept coming up to us and being like, "Where's his pass? Like, you don't have press credentials." And we're like, "Oh, we forgot in the Twitch booth. We're with Twitch." We would just, every time they came up to us, we'd say we were with someone else so that they like wouldn't be able to track us down. And for an entire weekend of PAX, I snuck another human being around the event with me. Without anybody finding out, and shot an entire like documentary basically while I was there.
Wow.
I'm telling PAX.
I'm the king of the he's with me thing. Like I think when events are back, like I leverage like in I don't leverage just anyone, but I have definitely done the like act like you've been there and you're there kind of thing. Like, he's with me. Like, yeah,
I think that works a lot of the time. I would like bring people into the Blizzard arena through the back door like that all the time when I worked in the Overwatch League, but PAX, they like lock that shit down. Like, that's like pretty hardcore. So yeah. I had to do some fucking gymnastics. Like, we figured out which escalators we could go down without anybody seeing us at like certain hours of the day. It was cracked. It was
sounds like a year that I like hijacked a room at Evo and nobody knew about it. That was a good time too.
How is that like possible?
The Sunday of Evo, we went all out this year. This was 2018. Like the height of ESPN wanting to spend money on esports, and it was we had like 2 photographers, a photo editor, 2 producer editors.
Wait, what?
One what we borrowed from other places. So it was Tish and Maddie Jason. Yeah, 1 photographer, or 2 photographers, 1 photo editor. Garfat, me, Tyler, Arash McCarthy, and
for Evo?
And Darren, I think.
I remember Darren telling me about that event.
Fucking loaded. Evo was always a big deal for us because it was like in the calendar it was a big thing. We actually saw pretty good traffic. It was the one time of the year in fighting games where it like made a lot of sense to just like go fucking bananas. Yeah, and we ended up and Rachel Goo. So it was we had a stacked crew for this event.
Oh, I'm suddenly wondering
it's like 9 people.
Yeah, where'd all that money go? It's all starting to make sense in my head why that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, this was the year we were a company priority, so we whatever, blank check, buddy. Anyway, so me, the photo editor, and Rachel Goo, like, we're trying to figure out what we would do because we got there and the normal press room had nowhere to set up. This is not really a bad story, but had nowhere to set up internet, or I had set up like Ethernet and no connections and nothing. The first 2 days had it in the arena. I mean, the convention hall, but not the arena. And so we went in, we literally took a piece of gaff tape, ripped it off, and wrote ESPN in Sharpie and stuck it on a random door across the hall, or like down and across the hall from the press room.
That's some high class shit.
Which is crazy because like upstairs, ESPN had an entire broadcast booth because it was on Disney XD that year. Smash 4 was. This is the final, or second to last Smash 4 year at EVO. And we ended up like hijacking this room only to find, and it had plenty of Ethernet ports on the wall, maybe like 2 or 3 6 panels, so like anywhere from like 12 to 18 Ethernet ports. and only one of them worked in the entire room. And so Rachel goes in a panic, and she's like, I'm gonna drive to a Best Buy. Well, if you've ever been to the Strip, like there's nothing like that.
Oh yeah,
there's
Strip.
You have to drive very far out of the Strip to find like retail shopping, normal retail shopping that's not like overpriced and touristy. And so I was like, no, I have an idea. And so I literally used my company credit card on Amazon Prime Now and ordered an Ethernet hub, which I still have somewhere. And literally just like ordered an Ethernet hub to delivery.
It just showed up at the Mandalay
within like 2 hours, and we Ethernet hubbed and ran off of one Ethernet hub with like 4 ports for the rest of the day. It was a good time.
I would have loved to talk to the Amazon Now guy who shows up to the private room at the Mandalay Bay Arena and is like, "Here's your Ethernet splitter, sir."
They wouldn't let him in. He had to go through like the Uber Lyft drop off at the basement of the Mandalay Bay. I had to like go struggle to find him, and he handed it to me. I was like, "Thank you." So I bought it and some cables on the card, and I was just like, "All right, whatever." I was honestly quite surprised. Those company credit cards were pretty strict. I was surprised it let me do Amazon Prime Now with them, to be honest.
Yeah, they would stop a ton of shit on those.
Yeah, I know. It stopped you and I at Target, and we were actually buying something.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we were buying a fucking
I used
SD card, like something so reasonable to buy.
And it stopped me, and I had to bill it because I just ended up. I was just like, whatever. I pulled out my normal card, but like Jesus Christ. Yeah. But that's not my bad story. I actually do. I do have a bad story, and I don't mind sharing this one. So, at the beginning of my career, that like same time the whole like score thing happened, I'm volunteering for Esports Heaven, and like I didn't expect any money from them, but like I also didn't expect to be like marginally successful in such a really short amount of time. Like I don't think that I broke one of the biggest stories in esports that year 3 months into my career, like really fast. And it was the like Corey Meet Your Makers. I don't know how many people know that story, but the long and short of it, I was not at the collegiate championship. That event was a fucking joke. Anyway,
that was like 2 weeks after I stopped working at Tespa.
Oh my god.
Anywho, no offense if you attended.
Oh, he said 2 years ago.
Piss waste of money, and I made my voice loud on that one after the fact. Anyway, yeah. So I like came into Esports Heaven. I was a volunteer. I was writing like profiles. I think like I wrote like a match primer for like IEM Cologne that year, 2014, Gambit, CLG, Dignitas. I can't remember all the teams for that, but anyway, I'm surprised I remember that many. That was not a big event. Anyway, and so then I like wrote like profile pieces on like Sneaky and Alltech and a few others, and then I got the Meet Your Makers story, and I'm okay with sharing how I got that story, actually, because it's not a source exactly. I got that story because the score wouldn't publish it, actually, to your other point. So I should have known what the fuck was coming for me when I tried to freelance there a month later.
What was the story? I don't know if I'm familiar with it.
So the basics of the Meet Your Makers Corey story was Corey was a mid laner. He was really young and he was a teenager for the European team Meet Your Makers, and he was in a house that was ran by one and kind of two abusive team managers, and people like got really concerned because he ended up running away, and there was a challenger team in NA that flew him to Canada, and he just bounced. Like, dude's like from Poland, was living in Germany with MYM, and he just straight up bounced. Hopped on a plane, went to Vancouver, played for this like NA challenger team in scrims. Couldn't get Riot approved because there was a lot of like handles, but like just bounced. Like they paid for his plane ticket and he left. I think their coaches at the time were Frostgear and LS, and he had a really good relationship with LS, the challenger team that did that. Anyway, Yeah, essentially, like, what got passed along to me, because the score refused to publish it, also got passed along to Richard Lewis, who was at Dot at the time, were audio recordings of what was being said to him. One of them where, or there were two big ones. There was one where literally a team manager was like banging against the fucking wall and threatening him. And then in another instance, same voice, different audio recording, tells him that if he voids his contract, he will make his mother lose his house. And was like, that's a promise.
Yeah,
because
What?
Meet Your Makers, a lot of people call it Move Your Mothers, which was like, and then another team manager is comparing, he's like, like, you doing this to us will fuck us, like, you're gonna lose us thousands of dollars in sponsors that like signed on to watch our team be successful, and like, this is the equivalent of if we broke your neck. Like, that was said to him, and like, this was the ELCS back in the day. This is a pro team. And so he ran. He like fucking just pieced out and went to Canada. And we like knew that something happened, but I didn't know what happened. And because the score didn't publish that story, I got my hands on the audio recordings. And I broke the story like 2.5 months into my career, 3 months into my career. And then the whole thing that I explained earlier happened. I ended up getting an offer from Dot. And it wasn't a lot of money, but like it was more than I was making as a volunteer or like freelancing for Gfinity and the score. And it was good. And I wanted to work at Dot. Dot was Richard and Josh and everyone else. Like, I thought I'd learn a lot. I did. And the head of Heaven Media, a guy named Mark Reed, he's still in the industry, got me on a phone call when I told him how much Dot was offering me. Again, not a lot of money. And I was like, I really want to stay at Esports Heaven because I like Michael, their editor-in-chief. I would like to be here. I want to help build the site. I was actually working, I'm a programmer by nature, so I was working on a site redesign for them, like building it, building a custom WordPress theme and everything, like really like wanted to help see this company grow. All for free, by the way. And Mark said to me that I will never be worth more than $500 a month. And I will never forget that. That was said to me like the 4th month into my career, and it was just like, okay, well, like I like had some emotional connection to your publication and your people, but now I fucking don't. Shove rocks, dude. Like, I'm gonna go work for Dot and and make a living. And so it's like it's funny, like people, I'll get asked by like college students like, and I'll like tell that story and they're just like, what? And I was just like, I was told it was not worth more than $500 a month. Good old days of esports, baby.
I think the craziest thing I've ever been told by someone in esports, I actually have a lot of these. Now that I say that out loud, there's a lot of them, but the one that came to mind when you said that was that one time there was a certain professional video game team that a certain person involved with that team told me that the reason why they weren't performing well that year was because of me. As a video creator.
Can I tell another story? Because I see Sloth Hipster in the chat, and he was there with me that weekend.
Yes,
so
nice.
Sorry. This is actually, I don't mind sharing this one now either. It's been long enough, and everybody's reconciled that was angry at each other, myself included. Anywho, so I am maybe the only person that's ever had a press credential revoked by both Blizzard and Riot, and this is the Riot part of that story. And Quest actually may remember this as a Korean journalist. That's part of the reason some people in Korea fucking hate my guts. So I I heard in September of 2016 that the Rox Tigers, the biggest team or one of the best teams in the world, was going to be breaking up after the World Championship. And we had a big meeting at ESPN in Bristol with Collins from the Los Angeles team. And I told everyone that I I told everyone that I had the story, and it was a big deal, but that I wanted to handle it respectfully. And I don't think people have heard this full story in its entirety.
Coffee Breath
So
Show
we made-
exclusive.
So-
Oh wait, hold on.
You have a thing for that.
I have a horn.
Jacob, wait!
I have a horn.
We have to wait for the audio cues.
Oh, fuck. I took off the horn. I have a cheer. Okay, the crowd's
You were
cheering.
the audio guy. I was the visual guy.
I fucked up. Sorry, I'm gonna give myself a bruh for that. Okay.
So this is a meeting in September. This story doesn't go out until like the third week of October, to give you some like real. And so I was just like, I want to handle this respectfully. Since they're coming to the World Championship anyway, I want to go see Rocks. I want to sit down with their manager and like I want to talk. And so I went to the Chicago leg quarterfinals, and I tried to set a meeting. I tried two different ways. I went through a third party who was a mutual of me and the manager of the Tigers, and then I went through Riot. And Riot PR came back to me at some point during the event, probably the second day of the 4-day weekend, and said, we'll give you a comment from the Tigers, but only if you hold the story till after Worlds. And if you work in journalism, holding a story for the 4 weeks that I already had was pretty fucking risky, especially when, by the way, some of these players were taking meetings in person with North American team owners that was poaching as shit. So like the likelihood someone would spot them was pretty fucking high. And so I already knew what I was dealing with. And so like holding it another 3 weeks or whatever was like really terrifying. I was super afraid I was going to lose the scoop. Second best team in the world. We're about to break up. And so I was like, okay, well, I can't hold this story, but I would like to speak to her, the manager of the Tigers. And Riot told me that she was not in Chicago. And I knew for a fact that she was, because I had been talking to someone that we both knew who was texting her to try to help me arrange a meeting. And I ended up getting very angry, and again, I was immature and stupid. I called a Riot PR person, both behind their back and then to their face, a liar, and I was very angry, and I yelled, and I got my press credential revoked. And
that makes sense.
That checks out. I wasn't wrong. He was lying, but the way I handled it, probably not the best. Again,
remind me, I want to ask you a question.
Me and this person have reconciled, so shout outs. Him and I are on good terms. Anyway, we actually made up talked it out over gambling at Evo at another time. So all good. Anyway, yeah, so I got my credential revoked. We posted the story the following day. Without comment from the Tigers. The whole fucking shit flurry came, if you know anything about that story. I basically was called a liar by the Tigers. I was smeared. ESPN was smeared. Subreddit fucking hated me. They already didn't like me. People were harassing me. They were finding my old Texas address, even though I lived in Connecticut at the time. They were doxing me. They were fucking, at one point, messaging my partner. I had to delist her from my Facebook page as a public thing because people were messaging her. It got really fucking nasty and gross, and I had to live like that for a month with a revoked press credential and my job being furious with me. I haven't even been there for a year at ESPN at that point, and having to worry about all of this. And I will say there was good that came from it. I ended up going, we had already bought my plane ticket and booked my hotel and everything, so I ended up going to finals in LA that year. Was just going to cover it with everyone.
Walked in.
Well, actually, so I didn't have a credential, so I was going to have to buy a ticket. One of our biz dev guys bought me a ticket from StubHub, which is in LA Live. And then I ended up actually getting from someone who worked with Peter Guber, the now co-owner of Team Liquid, but co-owner of the Warriors and very famous movie producer. Someone that worked with him gave me a pass to their suite, and they had rented out the Los Angeles Lakers suite in Staples Center, and that was where I watched. And it was a revolving door of, I did an interview with Peter and with Bruce Stein, who's the CEO of Axiomatic now, about them buying Liquid, which had just happened. And then I did an interview with them, and then the revolving door was Reginald, Jack, Steve, Ocelot. And it was just like, it was good food. It was not shitty press catered food. And it was a fun fucking time. I had a much better time with that pass than I did the actual press nosebleeds at the Staples Center. So again, not all bad came from this story. And I ended up, about a month later, I woke up on Thanksgiving Day at my girlfriend's parents' house. And my phone, I swear to God, was hot to the fucking touch. Like, I picked it up and I was like, holy shit, my hand hurt. And guess what happened that morning? The Rocks Tigers disband. And I have never seen so many goddamn messages on my phone. Discord, Skype, it, TeamSpeak, it didn't fucking matter. Every single thing just coming through. And people were like vindicating me. Subreddit's blowing the fuck up. There's like a thread of like, we owe Jacob Wolf an apology. Half the people were like, fuck yeah. The rest of them were like, fuck no, fuck that guy. He like broke up our favorite team, because that was the spin that was like my story somehow did it. Which
they weren't gonna break up until you reported it, dude. That's on you.
Yeah.
Every single member. So this is the other half of that story that you don't know. I was actually at the Rocks Tigers facility when you published that, and the look on their faces. Dude, like, honestly, I actually, like, I was playing nice listening to your story. Like, that's great for you, man. Great. That's awesome. But I was fucking there, Jacob. And they were crying. One of them was throwing up because he was like, I love this guy. And he was like, he was physically sick. And it makes me so angry.
Yeah, they were like, well, shit. Jacob said, now we got to break up. That's on him.
Can't believe he did that.
It must be tough to wake up every day and live with that guilt.
Must be bad that Smeb took meetings with Steve and Noah, and Gorilla took meetings.
He did that because of you!
In public places. That must really, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you telling me this story. Weren't they meeting in like hotel lobbies?
Shit? They were meeting at like, and these teams, Liquid and Immortals weren't even at Worlds.
Yeah, they weren't at Worlds.
And no one had a question. No one asked.
I'm sorry, did I ask?
Like, and when I started hearing that shit, I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? All it takes is a press member to walk into that lobby, like, oh, why is Smeb getting coffee with Steve? Like,
I wonder.
They both like coffee. I don't know, man. It's not that deep. Damn, that's wild.
Yeah, and so I got my credential revoked. It eventually got handed back to me, and again, I've reconciled with all the Riot and ex-Riot PR people that were involved in that mess. And I'm the first to admit I was an asshole in the way that I handled it. I don't think I was wrong, but I was an asshole. Tact, and mine was not good. But yeah, like, god damn it, that was a period of time. The part that involves Sloth Hipster in the chat was, I was really fucking worried that weekend for like my job and everything else. Like, it was a really hard weekend after all the shit, and we like ended up staying up one night till like 3 a.m. playing like code names in my hotel lobby. They had like a vaulted area that was like separate from the actual lobby at the Hilton. I think it was the Hilton Garden Inn in Chicago. And we played like code names, and it was a really good fucking time. And I think the following night we ended up going to a buddy's house too. I don't know if he was there, but I know others were. Ended up going to a friend's house and like just like hanging out like basically all fucking night again. And then also we had like one of them took us to a Chinese place that literally like you would order whole ducks, and they would literally use the duck in everything. So it'd be like duck soup, fried duck fried rice. Like, it was fucking delicious. So one of the best meals I've ever had. So that Chicago weekend, for as shitty as it was for work, was a very good personal time. I made a lot of friends, and it was enjoyable.
I have one question for you.
Go.
If you good?
There you go.
Bitch, I hit the wrong button. Ask.
If you could just teleport yourself right now, also time travel yourself, back to that moment when you just hit send.
Gentleman Pro, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate the support.
Nice. But also you interrupted me. Anyway, if you could teleport yourself and time travel yourself back to like right when you hit click on the publish button, would you still do it or would you wait?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Maybe not wait all the time, but would you at least wait a little bit? At least like maybe figure more out. Wait till it was like a calmer time. Wait any time at all.
No. Maybe that's fucking cold-hearted, but like knowing what I just said about like the players being like meeting in public places with team owners that were trying to poach them and like all the other crazy shit that was going on around that, like it was bound before somebody figured it out. And I'd already waited 4 weeks, and like this is maybe a little bit of an asshole thing to say, but like I think it made semis matter a lot more because it was the last outing for them. Nothing I did changed that. They can say that I lost them sponsors or whatever. Like, nah, dude. Like, even if you got sponsors, your players were out the fucking door the moment they were playing for a world championship, and most of them knew that. Yeah. Right? Like, maybe not all of them were in on the fucking thing, but most of them knew that. The team was gonna break up because they were already taking those meetings to come elsewhere, right? During the world championship. And like someone would have figured it out, and I think like the story made the semis match against SKT probably the best series ever in Pro League of Legends in Madison Square Garden. Like it made it matter a lot because everyone knew that going into that weekend it was it. And if they didn't, and you were a fucking Reddit denier and you hated my guts, like you had some semblance of doubt in your mind that I was right, or like you had some semblance of thought in your head that I was right and that this was the last time, and I was right. And like, did that like month of abuse suck? Yes, it did. But after that story was over, everybody was like, then the narrative on Reddit after it was like hating me for a long period of time became, damn, this guy got the rock story right. We should listen to him about everything else. And I've made good on that. I've not been wrong like since October 2015. So. But no, you know what? Like, or November 2000.
But who's keeping score, you know?
I've never been wrong since, I don't know.
I used to have a spreadsheet. That was a bad idea because, like, I can't prove fucking Redditors wrong. I just have to do my work and put my head down. I didn't know that at the time, but I used to have a spreadsheet. But I remember the last story I got wrong, and I didn't get a single one wrong at ESPN. I've not gotten anything wrong at Dot so far. But the narrative changed because I took a giant fucking risk. Yeah, so no, I wouldn't hold it. It's the day after they played. They'd already played. Oh, by the way, the other like niche in that, by the way, that I got accused of was harassing a player, which is just unfucking true. So I was like told that everyone got press interviews with the Rock Tigers except me that night, the night before the story. And Gorilla was like off to the side by himself. Right. And he was not doing anything. He was not waiting on anyone. And I just like went up and introduced myself. I was like, hey man, like my name's Jacob, I work for ESPN. I'm a friend of Fionn. He knew Tyler. I was like, I'm a friend of Fion's. Do you know where your manager is? That's all I asked. And like fucking Riot tried to like tell people that I harassed a player when talking to ESPN. And I was just like, I did not. That's not harassing a player. I asked a fucking question. Get over yourself. So that was probably the part that bothered me most. It was like I harassed a player by saying hello and asking him a question. Like I left him alone after that, but like I got escorted out of the building because I like walked up to him and asked him a casual off the record question. Huh. Whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of different.
Yeah. The Blizzard credential revoking thing was also fucking nuts, but
I don't think I know
that one was actually more crazy, the Riot one. So yeah.
What was I don't think I know the story about how you got your Blizzard credential taken away. I don't think
I was over Overwatch League 2018 finals, Brooklyn. The long and short is it was a mistake. But it was not a mistake. I had a credential for Media Day and I magically didn't have a credential for the actual event. And the difference between the day that I showed up at Media Day and the day that I worked at the event is I broke a story on the next two franchises in the league. That afternoon. Yeah. So it was a mistake. My credential went away. Oh. And that involved some very nasty phone calls between all parties involved, and an apology. To his credit, I have a very good relationship with Nate Dancer. He's a very nice guy. He called and apologized. I appreciate it. Even if it was like an oversight or a mistake, like him calling to apologize was very nice.
I'm just imagining the PR guy on his phone just reading over your article, being like, "Oh, that's so weird, dude. Yeah,
well,
your
the funny thing,
just gone. It just disappeared right there."
So the funny thing about that is, so if you know anything about the Barclays Center, there's like the I guess they call it like is it Champions Lounge? No, it's the 444 or not 444. Is this
Wendy's?
No, it's the Jay-Z Lounge. Whatever. Jay-Z is a part owner of the Brooklyn Nets in that arena. He has like a sponsored bar area in that arena.
Title bar.
Fucking cool. It's something Jay-Z themed. It's like slipping my mind right now. It's like a luxury club within the Barclays Arena or Barclays Center in New York. And so they did press day there, and I mean, I was surrounded by like Washington Post and a bunch of other people because WAPO had just got like Mike had just started coming to events. I like Mike a lot, but and so I like had this story sitting there, and everybody's like roaming the room, like interviewing Gesture and all the Spitfire and interviewing the Fusion, Carpe and all the Fusion, and I was like, and I was like shacked up at a bar. Laptop, anytime a Blizzard person comes by, I like arm up like in front of what I'm like writing because I don't want anybody to like look over my shoulder that I'm about to break the Guangzhou and Paris teams. Yeah, that was a fun weekend just in general because all the ESPN people came to New York, and that's like my brand new home. I just lived there for like 6 months or whatever, or less than 6 months, like 5 months, 4 months. So I ended up like breaking that story that afternoon. I like on my way back, I went to lunch. I walked Mike Hume from WAPO to his hotel, which was down the block from my apartment because I was within walking distance of the venue. And so we were going the same direction. It was the first time we met, got to know each other a little bit. And when I left Mike at his hotel, I called someone at Blizzard PR. It was just like, I have a thing, and you have an hour. Figure it out. And they're like, oh, we're going to give you a response. And then it was, no, we're not going to give you a response. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I didn't get a comment. And then the following day, published a story. Following day, I had an early meeting. ESPN actually broadcast this event. I was on the desk for a little brief period of time, as was Emily, who was still a freelancer for us, I think, at this point. Tyler was on the desk. Trevor Scales, I think, hosted. So like we broadcast the final, and we had a pre-show in Barclays Center, and it was awesome. So there was a press list, and then which I was on the press list because I wasn't. Long story short, I was not put on broadcast. There's a long story as to why some people didn't want to put me on broadcast at ESPN, but another time. So I was supposed to be on the press list, and I was on neither list, actually, in the end. That was the mistake, even though I was at Media Day the day before. And I had a meeting early that morning with a executive in that same lounge, actually, where I was asked to come to Barclays early, meet them, grab some coffee, get to know them, like totally off the record, like meet somebody involved in one of the teams for the first time. I ended up getting, when I came, they were like, we don't see you on the press list. We don't see you on the ESPN list. And I was just like, okay. And then I like heard the woman that was running the door call a PR person, and they got a response. Like they were like talking. They were like, "Oh, I've got like Jacob Wolf from ESPN here." Blah 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 blah. Like and the person on the other line of the phone says something, and she goes, "Oh, okay." And I was just like, I know what this means. It's not my first rodeo. This is after the riot thing. Like, and so I like got escorted up, and was not handed anything on the way. Or no, I was handed a pass for the comeback, but I was so angry knowing what that meant that I wasn't on either. I messaged some higher up people at ESPN, and it caused a really big fucking stink for some people, and as it should, by the way. Don't fucking revoke their media credentials. I like that day I ended up breaking the Atlanta franchise, which became the Atlanta Reign, and who their ownership was, the day of the event. And we were doing the pre-show, and Jeff Kaplan came to be on the pre-show, and I was like talking to him, and like he knew who I was, obviously, considering what I did. And I was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna break another story today on like which franchise it is, and it's live right now. And it went out while we were standing there, and he had to go on and answer the questions on the show.
You did that to Papa Jeff? That's cold as hell, bro. That's cold as hell.
It was not timed. I did not time that publish. It published while we were standing there.
Oh, Jeff did nothing wrong, bro. Why do you have to do him like that?
Can we pour one out for Jeff?
I was like, it's now. Like, and by the way, just like the Riot story, I knew people at Barclays and Brooklyn Sports and Entertainment. I ended up getting a suite pass, and I just run the suite for him, bumped into rooms with a bunch
Sensing
of
a pattern here that you just find your way into some kind of executive suite at every major event you're at.
Jacob, these stories that you're telling are nice, but I want to tell some horror stories, and it seems like all of your stories have like this nice happy ending. Where
they end nicely, but they have some really crazy shit along.
Yeah, see, I like the stories that end with you being stranded in another country for 3 months.
Parks has the most. What I was saying earlier, Parks has some atomic.
I got dumped on a highway once by an Uber driver because I threw up in his car at TwitchCon.
So I threw up.
That's my bad.
I threw up in an Uber driver's car in Taiwan. And
what is wrong with you guys? Hold your fucking liquor. It's easy.
I got yelled at. I also then left my glasses in his car, which was the only way that I could see for that entire trip. But like the app that I had to get someone. Luckily, the place where I went, I had a friend there who spoke Chinese, and I had him go into the app, which was basically entirely in Chinese, and get through the app and then find the driver and get him to come back to me. And it was like it wasn't like a through the app thing. There wasn't like a, hey, I left an item, can you return? We just like contacted him again, and we were like, hey, we'll pay you money to come back. Anyway, and I had no cash on me, so my friend had to pay him. So shouts out to that guy. I owe you money. I've paid you back some of it, but not all of it. I need to get you the rest.
I actually had a similar experience in London. I left my wallet in the back of a Uber on the way to fucking Heathrow. And
did you have your passport still?
I did have my passport, so I could have gotten home, but I had no way to like buy anything if I needed it. And I had to call him, and I was already like kind of late for my flight because there was traffic, as there is in London. This was after the Face It major. So I went to London. I went to the UK 3 times in 2018, twice that fall, which was this trip. And I left my wallet fell out of my pocket in the backseat of the Uber, and I like had to call him, and he already was like half an hour away. And the dude was nice enough to turn around and like come back and give me my wallet at Heathrow. And I was just like, oh my god, like, yeah. I was like, holy fuck. I did tip. Because you can tip after the fact, I tip very generously. Thank you, ESPN, for tipping that man very well. But
Jacob's out here. I tipped him very generously. Yeah, motherfucker. Mickey Mouse tipped him very
Mickey Mouse paid more to a cab driver in London than they did to me on 2 stories that I tried to do. For them. Anyway, the second one happened at the end of my getting stranded in a country for 3 months. Because of esports. Also, just based on your wallet. See, this is where I wanted to be 5 minutes into the show. Look, all of you viewers out there, I got your back. We're gonna escalate. We're gonna fucking ramp up. I don't know what this guy's doing. He's making faces.
Oh,
I'm the one who's supposed to do the visuals.
I've got some. I want to hear yours, and then I've got one that's out of left field.
So I've got a few ways I can go with this. One is the getting stranded, but Jacob just brought up the losing the wallet thing, and I've got another one where I lost a wallet in a bar in Korea, and then I had to go back to the bar. Anyway,
I think what I think you should share with the people is the story of how you ended up in China for 3 months.
All right,
because that's fucking crazy. That's one that like doesn't sound real.
It doesn't, but I will tell you it was because I have photos to prove it. So
I know it's like a massive story. So if there's a way,
no, I can condense it.
Okay,
yeah, I won't take too long.
It's like it's more of like a concept with like multiple stories within it.
It's a bummer, is what it is. But you know what? I'm alive. So this is a trip. I'm pretty sure I've only told this story like very drunk, so I don't actually remember telling it to you all. But I've actually never been drunk in my life. So
you
anyway.
told it to me the first day we met. That's the only thing I knew.
Oh yeah, because that was when I had just come back.
Yeah, you were like weeks into being back in LA. It was the first time we ever met. And Tyler, I got into an Uber with you and Tyler was like, Fion on Fire, dear friend of the show.
I should tell that Tyler almost got killed in fucking Denver, and we had good bomb ass calzones after it. Oh my god! Okay, first your China story,
guys.
Okay, yeah, wait, then we have to hear about Tyler almost dying.
Esports was a mistake.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, I'll tell that story in a minute.
I'm sorry for the spoiler, but the closing line, the point of this whole show is esports was a mistake. So I apologize. I've already spoiled that, but you'll understand why in a second. So I was working for an esports publication. I was freelancing a couple years ago. Luckily now I have a full-time job, which I announced today. Hell yeah!
Congratulations, Parks.
So
Congrats.
I was freelancing for a publication that no longer exists. It was like a small startup thing, and they went under shortly after this story. Big surprise. So I worked for them for a few months. I was freelancing for a few different places, but this one in particular, I put together a content plan to move to China.
I remember this time.
And they were like, actually, this is amazing. Like, we will pay for you to go there. Like, you'll have to like put it on an invoice or whatever. Like, we're not going to give you money up front. Like, you're just a freelancer. We don't really care about you. But this plan that you have is going to be great. I had a meeting in person with our editor. He like took me out to lunch. We planned the whole thing out. Everything was approved from the top down. This was also my mistake because I didn't get anything in writing beforehand before moving to China. So that's, lesson learned.
Hire a lawyer, Parks.
Okay, so Jacob, here's a fun fact. At this point in my career, I had made a total of negative $20,000 on esports. So
holy fuck.
I had been working for a year and a half.
Why are you still alive?
Because I have only saved money my entire life. And then I got to the point where I was borrowing money from my parents to try and make a dream happen. But hey.
Well, it's happened now. There you go.
And now you're at Bar Coffeebreath.
Now,
dreams come to life.
Now I'm at the fucking top of the mountain, guys. It's only downhill from here. Anyway. Yeah, so I had lost a lot of money on esports, but I was determined to make it work. And this was kind of my big plan. And I got the site that I was working for. They were like, hell yeah, we're all about this. So about 3 or 4 days before my flight, I had, at this point, sold my car, gotten rid of most of the things that I owned, broken up with my girlfriend. What else did
painful.
I do? I got someone.
So painful.
I got someone to rent my apartment, which I had just signed a year-long lease on, like 2 or 3 months earlier. So I had to break the lease. Got someone who like said that they were going to sign, who was living in San Francisco at the time, and I was in LA. Did all of the shit. Like 3 days before, the editor quit. Huh. Well. That's a thing. Cool. All right. So I have a little panic, but they appointed a new interim editor, and he immediately. We're gonna get there.
Oh, I had a good reaction on that.
He, the new editor, literally like the second he was appointed, he was like, "Hey man, just letting you know, we're gonna keep you on. I know things are kind of crazy. We are gonna undergo some changes." With the publication, but we do want to keep you. We're going to let some other people go.
Did this publication and said editor recently get squashed, like within the past month?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway.
Okay.
In any case.
I don't know if that's code or if you actually don't know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Smile, as Charlie I can't say your name, man. Charlie says in the Mr. Chat room. So anyway, the new editor, without missing a beat, was like, "We are going to lay people off. You're not one of them. We are excited about the work that you have done with us, whatever." And I was like, "Cool. I don't know how filled in you are, but I'm going to China in like 3 days. So, just letting you know, like, this is a thing that's happening. I already have the flight. I've made all the plans. We have the content plan. I'll get you in on the content plan, whatever. Then, about 15 hours before my flight, I flew out Sunday morning. Saturday evening, late in the evening, when I literally have all my bags packed and I am just waiting to get on a flight, I get an email from my company, hey, by the way, your contract is now null and void. And I'm like, nice, funny joke. That's really good. That's a great one. That's really funny. I have a flight. I already don't have a car. I literally don't own a car. I actually have already scheduled an Uber for tomorrow morning. I don't own a car. So
the day before he flies to a foreign country.
I have promised my apartment to another human being. I have gotten rid of most of the things that I own.
You couldn't even go home if you wanted to.
So, yeah. So they had told us, they were like, we're actually going to be restructuring a lot of the contracts. So we are going to send out emails to everyone. So at first I was like, oh, this is like, they're going to change my contract, whatever. I then, from multiple of my friends who were working there, they all, like, everyone messaged at the same time. We were all just messaging each other. And they were all like, holy fuck, oh, wait. Oh, God. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, they gave us a new contract. Oh, God. Oh, thank the Lord. I thought I just got laid off. And I was like, they gave you a new contract? What? And they're like, yeah. Like they did the void thing, but then we got a new one. And I was like, I didn't get a new one. And they're like, no, what? You will, right? And I was like, I don't fucking know. So I emailed them. I DM on Twitter. I'm reaching out on fucking Facebook at this point. I'm trying to fly across the country to find this guy in person.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn for these guys. I'm like, do I re-download Skype? What do I do? And yeah, they just didn't get back to me. Like, nothing. And I was like, well, fuck, I just have to take the flight. Like, at this point, I made the plan. I already have contacts in China who are going to set me up with a house and another job, a second job. Like, I had everything figured out, and they fucking dropped this shit. I fly to China the next day. I was supposed to have a meeting, like, my second day of being there, so I had, like, 24 hours. By the way, I got so sick from eating the airplane food and like flying there. I spent about 6 hours in the bathroom, like throwing up the airplane food. Didn't have access to the internet when I got there because I hadn't set that up beforehand, which was my bad. I had to buy a SIM card while I was there, but that was kind of hard to figure out. And every time I went up to stand
Dude doesn't
in line,
speak a lick of Chinese, by the way. Dude doesn't speak any man.
I decided that I would learn while I was there. Every time I would get in line to get a SIM card, and by the time I would get near the front of the line, I would have to go back to the bathroom. Because I was so sick. I was just so sick. So 6 hours later, it's like 2 a.m. at this point. I finally like got a SIM card, and I was a good hour and a half out from the Airbnb. But the Airbnb, they had two of them that was like the same name. It was like owned by the same group. I went to the wrong one. I got there at like 4 a.m. It was gated and locked. There was no way inside. I was still sick as fuck. I was tired. I hadn't slept at all on the plane. I had not slept in like 36 hours. I didn't have a job. I was in China. And I had just broken up with my girlfriend and cried out all of the water that I had drank in the last week.
And then vomited out anything that wasn't water.
And I was so dehydrated and tired. And some dude randomly happened to be coming. It was like a college kid. Happened to be coming home or coming to this Airbnb at like 4 a.m. Let me in the gate. Let me in his room. And knew like this much English. And contacted the Airbnb, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't know who you are, Parks. Who the fuck are you?" And I was like, "I swear I have a room here." Anyway, they gave me a spare room, so thank the Lord for that guy. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, the other job that I had, I went there the next day, and they were like, "Oh, you're not connected to your other employer? Well, then we're not interested in hiring you." So I lost that job too. And that they were the ones, essentially, if I, like the way that housing works there, if I had that job, they have like offices that are connected to housing, or they have like housing that you literally can only be in like certain apartments if you work in a certain place, because they're like trying to cut down on commuting. So it's like, oh, this is a brand new apartment. We're only letting people live here if you work in XYZ area. So I was supposed to be in one of those apartments. I was supposed to be working at their office. Instead, I spent multiple weeks living in a closet-sized Airbnb, not knowing anything. I literally, the only thing I ate was this chicken place down the street. It was like 3 blocks away, because there were no other restaurants in like multiple miles. Look, I didn't have a bank account. You cannot connect any sort of credit card or any international, anything, no debit cards, nothing, to like the apps in China, because they only accept Chinese bank accounts. And I couldn't buy anything other than like through like some weird way that I'd figured out. But to like get an Uber or anything there, you have to have a bank account. So I couldn't pay for shit. I eventually, one of my friends who I met at Worlds 2018, I was like, hey, I'm in China. He was like, cool. Hey, one of my roommates just moved out. I have a closet-sized room that's literally only big enough for a twin-size bed, and like maybe you can put your clothes in there. You can come live with me. So I did that shit for 3 months. I had multiple people at like multiple of the LPL orgs that were like, I was talking to and getting content plans set up, hoping that I eventually would get my contract reinstated. I contacted multiple other places that I had been freelancing for, and they were all like, hey, come back in a month. Like, we're just not ready. We're not ready. And I was like, I'm ready.
I remember that.
I'm very ready. I am so ready. Let me tell you how ready I am to be doing anything with my time. Long story short, actually, I missed the fact. I also asked this same publication if I could go to Rift Rivals, which was in Korea. They said yes. We agreed on how many pieces I would do while I was there and how much money they would give me. It was essentially only going to cover the cost to travel there and attend the event, but I was like, it's worth it because I'm just sitting here doing nothing anyway. They never got back to me. I flew to Korea, went to the event, got a press pass, covered the event, interviewed people, wrote other shit that I was going to write, took photos, took videos, did all sorts of shit, tried to get back with them, and they just ghosted me. Never talked to me again. Another $700 down the drain.
Parks, I just want to know, I just need to know, how are you alive right now? Dude?
I'm alive. So here's what I tell people. You can't get rid of me because I'm a motherfucking cockroach.
The cockroach of esports.
I'm the fucking cockroach.
That's him.
Dude, so many people have been like, I don't like this guy. Get him out. He's fake. I don't know. I'm a fucking cockroach. Good luck.
So should I tell the Fion nearly died story?
Yeah, I know it's pretty late your time, so I don't want to hold you too much longer. Let's hear that story of how Tyler almost died.
Thank you.
Dear friends of the show, Fion on Fire on Twitter. You guys know who he is. If you're following esports, if you're here this long into this episode, you know who Tyler is. So this is in Detroit, right? I don't think I've ever heard this story.
Denver. So we all went to Monte Cristo and Susie Kim's wedding. Everyone flew in for the week or weekend. Most of the ESPN crew was there. I think it was like me, Darren, Ryan Garfat, Tyler. Mina Kimes actually came because she got to know Susie while she was in Korea for the Faker piece, the famous Faker piece. And then like assorted and Arda and assorted other friends. Arda wasn't, I don't think he was at ESPN yet.
No, I remember him telling me he went there.
No, he started the following year.
Yeah, he went there before he was hired. I remember him saying that to me.
Yes. So we went to their wedding in Denver, and they had they shut down. Okay, so this entire evening is fucking rad, by the way. Like, great time. There's a red carpet, and where they were like doing like groups of people at a time to appear on the stream because they streamed the wedding. It was like the big like secret event that we were all tweeting about. It was fucking
that
fun.
Shit was so annoying. That's so fucking. I'm sorry. I'm gonna derail your story for a sec. That shit was so fucked up dumb.
esports secret.
It was just,
I
have clout!
dude, think about who's. Never mind. I'm not gonna say anymore. Jacob, continue
Are you
your
good?
story. No, never mind. Just continue your story.
So so it was like we started off the evening on the red carpet. It was me, Tyler, and Arda, and Arda like served Sideshow a maple syrup violation citation or whatever on the red carpet for the Overwatch desk skit where he like pounded a fucking thing of maple syrup.
And Sides was just like, what the fuck is going on? That video is so funny. When I put this on YouTube tomorrow, I might edit it in there because that's such a funny video if I can find it.
Yes, it's great. And so Arda like wrote him like a citation and like gave it to him on the red carpet. Well, so like the wedding goes fine. Everybody's like drinking, but pretty like low key during the wedding ceremony. And then they like, it was in an old train station, like that became like a wedding and event venue. And the back part of the train station like had a bar that was like open way too long. Like far longer than it should have been. And like the tab, Monty and Susie's families and them had put up so much money that like people could just drink their fucking ass off. Like it is.
A couple people did.
It was bad. It was bad. Yeah, a couple people did, including Mr. Fiona on Fire.
Huh.
And
Tyler,
so,
no,
what?
not him.
I ended up going. Arda and I had a 6 a.m. flight out of Denver the following day. And so back to New York, we were on the same flight, and so we like we're gonna stay up all night in my hotel room. I had used all of my like all my points, Marriott points, to get like a suite that me and a buddy stayed in for the weekend. Whatever, like fucking free. I accumulated from all the travel, and so we like ended up being like me, Garfat, Arda, and my buddy, and we went back to the hotel room, and then like everybody was like, oh well, we're going out for calzones. And I was like, okay. Apparently they had found this like open till like 3 or 4, some crazy shit calzone place like not too far from the hotels in downtown Denver. And so we like went to the calzone place, and it is like me. There's an Overwatch broadcaster there that I can't remember his name. He's an amateur guy. Maybe he'll come to me in a second. Anyway, Tasmo from MV / Fuel, me, Tyler, my buddy, Arda, and then Tatiana Viznovic, who was the editor of Overwatch Wire for a while, and then her boyfriend, Chris, who works at Naughty Dog. And it was... as they were getting there, the car was like Tyler, Tatiana, Chris, I can't remember who else was in that, Tasmo, and somebody else was in the Uber. And Tyler got out on the side, like the road side, not the sidewalk side, opens the door, and there was a car that flew by and literally smashed this door and almost fucking kills Tyler.
Like the door like busted off the car?
Hits the actual door, yes. Like, and then speeds off. Like, hits the fucking car door. And almost kills Tyler. Tatiana grabbed Tyler like so hard you could see that there was a mark on his arm. Because she was just like fucking yanked him back into the car and kept him from dying. And yeah, and so this car like speeds off. The Uber driver is pissed because like his car just got smashed in a hit and run.
Why you mad?
And so, and then we're like, okay, well, like Tyler is drunk, and we get him his calzone, and he just like sits at the table. Like, I think the only people not drunk at this point are like me and like Tasmo, maybe one other person. We're like having a normal conversation. The other side of the table, you just hear Tyler the whole time. I almost fucking died.
I almost
fucking died.
I can hear Tyler saying that over and over.
Just sitting there.
And he's like, I almost fucking died. And so like we're like trying to console him to get him back to like reality and sober up a little bit, getting him water, making him eat some food, and He's pretty resilient. Yeah, I know you guys know him pretty well, but for the chat, he's pretty good at bouncing back.
Yeah, he's actually maybe the best at bouncing back.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen
tank.
anyone bounce back.
Yeah.
So
I see him
I still didn't trust him to get home by himself or back to his hotel by himself.
Always.
So I said,
away.
so Tatiana was tired at this point from saving his fucking life and making sure he was okay throughout the evening, and so I was like, I'll take care of it. Don't worry. Like I'm sober enough here to like I'll be okay. I'm not like we're good. I'll take care of it. And so I literally looked at Tyler and was like, hand me your phone. I'm gonna get an Uber that will go from my place to from this gal's own place to my place to your place to Garfet's place. Everybody will get a ride, same car. Or actually, no. Garfet was in the middle, so it was my place, Garfet's place, his place, last in the middle. And so
Tyler get dropped off last in that state.
Yeah, that's a little sus.
That's a little foreshadowing here for you in the chat.
Wait for it.
Okay.
Tyler, we get in the car, and Tyler he sits at the front, and he starts talking to this Uber driver, who's like a heavy-set blonde woman, and he like starts talking to her, and she's all about it, like super engaged, like wants to have a conversation, and he's like telling her what he does. He like mentions his Twitter and shows her, which is fucking hilarious.
Oh, Tyler!
Tyler loves talking to Uber drivers. He loves that. I used to Uber with him to LCS every single weekend. He always, without fail, chat up the Uber driver.
Dude, he's met some guy, like he's met felons and all sorts of shit who have become Uber drivers.
Journalists.
And so he's like chatting her up, and he's like. He gets like to the point where they've talked enough in this like 15-minute car ride to go like, hey, can I have your number? And she gives it to him. Like straight up gives him her number. And like
that's a bro moment.
Dude, like and they like keep talking, and I can't remember. Someone should ask them this, but I have a feeling they actually did hang out like the following day. Like I'm not even kidding. Because Tyler's really like Tyler likes to stay for a couple days in cities. That's his thing. And I think he hung out with that Uber driver the following day, which is fucking hilarious. So he almost dies, and then he like picks up a Uber driver, and like she's all about it.
Dude,
it wasn't creepy because she was like all about it, dude. Like really wanted to talk to him.
I'm
like,
feeling Tyler's take on this. Like at that point, you kind of you become a god. Like when you defy death like that. Like at that point, life is your bitch. I don't know. Sorry, there's no nicer way to say that. Like. At that point, you're gonna go out on a date with any random Uber driver you meet. Like, that's one of those moments where it's like, I need to live my life to the fullest. I've had some near-death moments in my life as well. And it's like, as soon as it happens afterwards, like, you get in this weird headspace where you're like, I need to do everything. I need to just go do something crazy right now. So I'm with him there. I vouch is what I mean to say. Vouch.
It was that was a good fucking time. But I'll never forget. He almost dies and then fucking like successfully hits on an Uber driver who's definitely.
Dude, I'm just like thinking about the space in which like he opens the door and he's like standing outside of the car.
Well, he's
like getting out. He's like he opens.
He's like
and he's literally like starting to lean. And the car just smacks the fucking door and like nearly gets him too. Like holy shit.
Right, like he had to be for that scenario to line up that way. He had to be inches from that other car.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up.
And Tatiana grabbed him so hard he had a mark on his arm, like for the rest of the night. Like,
that's not surprising.
Like Tatiana is strong.
I'm not surprised by that.
Don't fucking die. I've gotten you this far.
She really has.
You must live. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I think that's a good one to end it on, Jake.
So I still have multiple more stories, including another time when Tyler almost died. So
I have. I don't think I have a story about Tyler almost dying. I do have some other Tyler stories, and I also have a story about the craziest thing that ever happened to me in Vegas at Evo.
Oh boy.
Which is such a thing. I don't know. I could tell it, but I feel like we've gone a long time.
So we're gonna
maybe
keep hanging out.
No, maybe we just save this for another one. Maybe we do another one of these sometime, and I save it for then because this is a fucking. It's almost not even related to esports. It's just an insane thing that happened while I was at Evo. So maybe we save it for another time. Yeah, Liz knows that story. It's powerful. It's unlike anything you've ever experienced in your life. What? Give it to me straight, bro.
I was just gonna say, like, should I tell the other Tyler Almost Side story or no?
I don't want to hold Jacob too long. Jacob, are you tired?
I'm down to hang for the Tyler Almost Died story.
Sure.
Other Tyler Almost Died story.
It's a little less directly Almost Died. A little bit more conceptually Almost Died.
I love that Tyler is not here for all of this. We're gonna tell him tomorrow. Like, what's up, dude? Just told all of your near-death stories on stream last night.
You should ask him if he took the Uber driver out on a date. I'm pretty sure they hung out the next.
I'll get an answer. Don't worry. I'll get an answer.
What's the over under?
Well, I wouldn't even bet on it. I'm
pretty sure he did.
I would be surprised if he didn't.
All right. Okay. So my Tyler Almost Side story number 2 is this one happened in Taiwan. No. This happened in Vietnam.
I love this story.
Yeah,
this
story is fucking crazy.
Okay.
Oh, this is where this is the same trip where he had the pet goldfish in the hotel room.
What?
Do you remember that? Yeah.
I thought
the hotel he stayed at in Vietnam gave him a goldfish, and he did a whole Twitter thread about the goldfish.
Wait, I thought that was
during
Korea
MSI
for some reason. Yeah,
that was during MSI in Vietnam.
That was me misremembering. That's really funny.
That's the goldfish week. Yeah.
What was it? He was like naming it like esports names. He had some like dumb name. He was like getting.
And
Twitter
I think
to
it died,
name
and they gave him another one. I'm pretty sure the goldfish died, and they
one
gave
of
him
them.
another one.
Yeah. Anyway. Tyler's a character. If y'all don't know Tyler, follow Fion on Fire.
We'll get him on here someday.
Actually, so funny
to verify all these stories.
So yeah, we were in Vietnam. It was during MSI 2019. Mm-hmm. This was actually just fun fact. This was a week before Tyler was the one who gave me the idea to go to China. So the China story that I told earlier was Tyler's
so you can blame him.
Yeah.
That's why I knew the China story when I met you, because I got in a car and Tyler was like, I barely even knew Tyler at this point. It was an Uber with us two and Tyler in it. And we were all going to a bar together, and Tyler was like, "What's up, Dan? This is my friend Parks. He just got back from China. I accidentally sent him there. It went really bad anyway."
Yeah, 3 months. He was within walking distance of one restaurant the entire time and didn't have a kitchen or a real bed. Anyway, welcome. So Tyler and I were in Vietnam with a bunch of other people. The last day of the first chunk of MSI, everyone went out to get absolutely plastered at like one of the I don't know, the strips or something. Anyway, a place to drink. We spent probably 4 or 5 hours at one specific bar, drinking a lot. And we were like paying them so much that they just started. Tyler was like, play whatever random esports music. He was like, play KDA or whatever. That didn't exist at that. Well, no, yeah, it did. Anyway, he was like, play this, play that. And we were just getting them to play League of Legends songs. Like Warriors was live at a bar in Vietnam in 2019 in May because Tyler asked them to play it, and they just played it off YouTube for the entire bar to listen to. And our little table was like screaming these League of Legends songs. Anyway, we did that for like 5 hours. After that, we were like, let's go somewhere else. Let's go to a club. So we leave the bar. The second we get like out of the bar, this woman walks up and she was like, "Oh, are you looking for the next place to go?" And we were like, "Wow, convenient. We sure are, actually."
Dude, you got played.
She takes us on a 15-minute walk through the streets of Vietnam, away from where all the other bars were. We go up a hill and around the corner. It's fucking pitch black. We go inside this like little room. It has like this little entrance room, and then it opens up into this like super smoky, dark back room bar thing. It has a big pillar which I danced all over for the rest of the night. Yeah, I mean, it was a bar.
Nice.
It was a little club. Nice. But yeah, they also would bring out these balloons when you would order drinks. And we had no idea what was in the balloons.
Dude, you guys are so fucking dumb.
So-
you are actually so dumb if you don't know what's in the balloons.
We
Oh
didn't
my
know.
God.
None of us knew what was in the balloons. We're all just plastered. We're so drunk. And they had this it was like a pew. It was like not a real, it was a place to sit, but it wasn't chairs. It was like built into the wall. And so Tyler and I are kind of like leaned up against the wall, really drunk. At this point, it's like 4 a.m. We had been drinking for like 6 hours, and we were just literally just drinking straight Jack at this point. We were not drinking anything other than Jack out of the bottle, as like the group of 5 of us. And they bring over these balloons, and we've been watching people like do shit with balloons for like the last hour, and we finally got ours. We were like, wow, we have balloons now. We're like blackout.
Dude, there's no way.
And Tyler takes this balloon. He's like, what do I do with the balloon? And the person there was just like, and Tyler was like, okay. Just inhales a fuckload from this balloon, hands it to me, and I'm like, yeah, balloon. And then he just goes, literally, no joke, he goes,
Big fucking hit.
Tyler's a large man, passed out on top of me. I'm like drunk. I'm like, oh shit. And I was like, I'm not doing the balloon. I passed it to the guy next to me, this other esports journalist, and he was like, yeah! And he just starts hitting it, and I'm like, I'm fucking done. I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not hitting from a balloon. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
How did you not know it was a
Tyler-
whippet, dude? Like,
Yeah, I didn't know. I was from small town Texas.
But
I
that's
didn't-
what that's such a thing. Like, that's Thailand's thing, is they do whippets there. In
Did you just say
balloons.
that's Thailand's thing?
Wait, weren't you in Thailand?
Reverse, pause, cut the tapes, guys. We're in Vietnam, bro.
Vietnam.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a friend that,
Are you good?
no, I had I had an esports friend that had the same experience in Thailand. I think it's something there as well.
In any case, yeah, we basically, so Tyler passed out. He passed out on top of me for a good like 10 seconds. And then he goes like this. He goes like, yeah, balloons! Let's go!
That's so good. That's a good.
And he like stands up and he's like still like kind of falling over. And I was like, Tyler, are you fucking good, bro? And he's like, I'm good. Yeah, balloons. He's like, I want more of that. Anyway, he hit the rest of it after whoever else had it. And I was like, yep, not doing that. Not for me. I'm not passing out in a fucking bar in Vietnam. Anyway, we stayed for another hour or so. And at the end, when we left, the bill was a good, like, not kidding, like $500. We were there for maybe 2 hours.
Did he pull out the Mickey Mouse card for that one?
No, I paid most of it.
Oh my
Because
god.
they only accepted cash. And I was like the only dude who had cash. We ended up not paying the full bill, but I gave them my entire wallet. Other than I kept like 20.
How are you alive,
I kept $20 and I paid for everyone to get home that night. Because I was the only one who stopped drinking like at a decently reasonable hour. And yeah, so when I looked at the receipt and I was using Google Translate, like you can translate shit live just by taking a picture. The thing that cost the most money literally translated to extortion.
No way! No way!
I was
no way!
So the bill is like $500, probably like $350 of it translated to extortion. And I was looking at it and I was like, this is wrong. This is wrong.
You think they like filmed you hitting the fucking balloons and being belligerent? Like,
this is wrong. Yeah, and I was just like,
dude, they fucked you. You got fucked.
I was just like, well, I don't know what to do because they're like barring us from leaving till we pay this bill, and everyone else is blackout drunk, falling over. I'm the only semi barely
like
sober
hitting the internet in like a year or
Yeah.
two. Like oh yeah, like this one time Tyler and Parks were in.
So, hey, what's up, Necro?
Time Tyler and Parks got extorted.
Yeah. So it literally just translated to extortion, and I don't know.
That's so funny.
Apparently, so we put together the pieces the next day, like from everyone's memory. We like tried to piece together what the fuck happened. Someone said, and I don't remember this, but someone said that apparently cops showed up because in Vietnam, after like 2 or 3 a.m. or something, you're actually not allowed to like continue serving alcohol, or maybe it was like the place where like the city that we were in or something. And so apparently the cops showed up to shut us down, and the bar essentially pays off the cops to continue serving. So then we have to foot the bill.
Oh,
so
I thought they were extorting you.
So apparently that's like what we've decided.
So you paid someone to bribe police officers.
We've decided that's canon. Yeah, we've decided that is the canon of the night, that we paid the cops via the bar.
I think I love that, because that paints a picture in which they have a cash register in front of them. You know, it looks like this. It's like they got all their buttons on there, like 1 beer, 1 bottle of Jack, and then there's another button that just says the cops showed up and we had to pay them off. And they just press that button. It's an instant $350 charge to your credit.
In any case, esports was a mistake.
I'll end with my, if this is cool with you, I'll end with my Twitch getting.
Yeah, wait, I want to hear this story. I've never heard this one.
So Dan can vouch. He's been around me enough at this point. I have always been the youngest guy in the room every single time. So like I have to like act like the oldest guy in the room, like the most fucking mature, like put together, right? Like it's kind of this inverse of like people make assumptions, so I have to like keep my shit together at all times. So even like drinking in public, like I'll drink, but I do not get drunk ever. I'll stop. Like I'll stop. I'll eat. I'll drink a water.
Smart.
Right. Figure it out. I just don't, because like I understand that like I already have some odds stacked against me, being, you know, for a long time a really, really young reporter, you know, younger than most people, you know, 24 in 2 weeks or whatever. And thank you. Or yeah, 8 days actually. Shit. Anyway, so I like try to keep it together generally all the time. So I am a huge EDM fan generally. I actually did like work in the EDM industry, music industry, before I got into esports. When I was a teenager, that was my thing. And I just like dance music. It's my thing. And so TwitchCon 2018, I was like, thank you. I was in like back-to-back events. And one of them was TwitchCon. And I just got back from Korea, and then flew home to New York, was in New York for less than a week, and then flew from New York to San Francisco to go to, or San Jose to go to TwitchCon. And so Dylan Francis and Ninja threw a party the night before. I bought a ticket like a normal human being, and I went to the event, and I paid $20 for a Jack and Coke at this bar, and
Jesus,
that's it.
Right.
I was like, that's it. I like cashed out after the $20, and I was like, I'll enjoy this one Jack and Coke, drink water for the rest of the night, and I'll listen to music and have a good time, and then go home. Well, that normally works, but it doesn't work when you're me at an esports party, and I proceeded to like just kind of keep to myself, and then a bunch of people that knew me turned around and saw me and brought me into their VIP area where they had free, or like just bottles and bottles of tequila and tequila vodka, and it was Goose, Patron, and what was the brown? It was not something I normally drank. Trying to remember what the whiskey was. Anyway, so I ended up getting pulled into this VIP booth, and I had free drinks, and I drank like a little bit. There were servers that like started dancing with us and everything. It was a good time. And then we got to the end of the night, and there was leftover liquor that we had to consume. And most people were gone, and that got put on me. And so
you had to play the tank.
Why did you have to consume it? I don't get it.
And so I ended up.
Take it out.
having to finish the bottles, specifically the Goose and the Patron bottles.
Oh, dude, finish it. Wait, was it straight Patron? Oh, no, Jacob, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And so I finished the Patron and the Goose. I actually like Grey Goose a lot. Patron, I like Margs, but I'm not a big just like straight up tequila guy. Yeah. I've got like Jose Cuervo on my shelf to mix.
Wait, why that one?
I don't know. It's like what I wanted to buy to mix. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah, we like I ended up finishing off the bottles, and the next thing I know, I'm out in this club. I didn't do any crazy shit. I didn't hurt anybody. I just fell asleep in this VIP booth. I remember very intermittent parts of this, and so I had somebody I like was friendly with, but not like super close with, that like was nice enough that he was a little less drunk than I was and stayed with me. We got kicked out. I remember getting kicked out, put out the back door of this place by a bouncer, and then again, like I didn't do any crazy shit. I just like fell asleep, and we ended up. And again, like I never do this, so this is a whole new thing to me. I don't get blackout drunk, but when you have to finish off bottles of 2 different alcohols and you've been drinking all night, it's really easy to do that.
Drinking straight Patron and Goose, like that's gonna hit.
Yeah, and mixing, that's the real key is mixing 3 different types of liquor. And so he uses my phone to get us back. He gets us an Uber. I have really terrible acid reflux. I've had it since I was a baby, like literally since I was a child. And so I fell asleep in the Uber, and I woke up and I puked all over the bottom of this guy's floorboard. And we were on one of the major San Jose highways, and he kicked me out, and I had to walk down the side of the highway with my arm over my friend's shoulder. And finally we got to my exit and got into my hotel room. We didn't fucking die. And I like woke up the next day super hungover, first day of TwitchCon, and that I had to work, and I like all of my clothes that I wore that night smelled fucking terrible, so I threw them away in the like hallway trash can next to the elevator.
It's like, no, never again. Don't want to remember anything about this.
No, I threw away my shoes. I threw away my pants. I had spare clothes in my bag. And so I like threw everything away, and then was like super hungover that entire day. Saw the friend again, thanked him immensely, and then like got into a dispute with Uber. Uber refunded me my fare, but then made me still charge my ESPN card the cleaning fee. Yeah. And I had to explain why there was a $150 Uber charge on my ESPN card when I did my expense report.
Oh.
I'm like, shit. And I swear to God, like, Ryan Garfat just fucking laughed his ass off at me the next day when I explained this story. He was just like laughing at me, and I was like, I never do this. You've been around me at events. I never am like that, ever. I am always the like, okay, like 3 drinks and I'm feeling it a little bit, no more. Like, oh, like, and yeah, the one time I like let loose, it's just like, all right, whatever, like fucking ham.
I won't tell this story on stream, but there is friends who know me will remember this. There is an professional Overwatch player who was hanging out at my apartment that took an Uber home on his company dime and like projectile vomited all over the back of that car. And it was, for the people that we hung out with during the 2019 Overwatch season who knew who this person was, everyone knew about this story where he had to explain why there was a charge to the company for like 100, whatever the default Uber charge is.
Yeah, it's like 50, 100, and 150. I like fucked up this guy's car so badly I got charged the max.
Yeah, he got the same thing. Where he was like, he just decimated this dude's car on the way back from my apartment on company time.
The sad part is that the Uber driver was so young that I did that to. That had to be his mom or dad's car. Like 100%.
Oh no!
See, that's why you should just do that in Taiwan, where you don't have a card connected to your.
Yeah, that's why you should just
rider.
extort the police, bro.
Yeah.
This all could have been solved if you just extorted the police.
Marks, we need you to write like a short book about your Asian adventures where you talk about being trapped in China and
honestly,
Tower Pass out in Vietnam.
My stories from Korea are arguably more interesting, but they have less to do with esports and more to do with me being an idiot. So I didn't tell those. But
there's plenty of those.
there are plenty of me being just really dumb stories.
Yeah,
so.
get on it. A short book, like sell it on Gumroad or something. Like short book of your Asian adventures, and you can talk all about them.
Oh no!
Always the businessman Jacob Wolf. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll
Thank you.
cut it off there because this is something we could go on
Yeah.
for forever. So we'll have to do another one
Yes.
of these sometime soon. We'll have to get Tyler here with us too to get.
Yes.
Tyler, you know,
Yo, we gotta bring the whippets.
we're only scratching the surface. I've also got a story that I would love to tell on here sometime about the time in college I watched a man do 18 whippets in under a minute.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Which I still think about to this day. I still have nightmares about that man's health. He did somewhere between 16 to 18 whippets within the course of 2 minutes. Liz can tell her story another time. We do have to cut it off here. We've been on for a while and it's pretty late Jacob's time. But thank you all for joining us, and thank you especially for Jacob. Jacob, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Jacob Wolf on Twitter, and then .esports.com.
Yep, and you just this week, or just, what was it, yesterday, posted a new major story, large investigative piece. Really fascinating tale. Even if you don't follow esports, you've got to read this thing. It's about this kid. What's his name? I forget.
Joshua Mullins.
Yep. Just the most average default, like, fucking name ever. Perfect for the story. This kid, like, defrauded and, like, fucking forged his way into, like, multiple $1 million
40 million.
yeah,
42 million.
contracts in esports. Just fascinating story of someone just absolutely fucking the system.
All while a teenager. He's 21 now.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is surreal to me.
He's 21 and he's been in jail for more than a year. So
when I was his age, me and my friends were botting on RuneScape to make like $3 an hour. Like, that's what I was up to. I mean, I don't call myself any kind of mogul, but it certainly didn't scratch the surface of what he was doing. But anyway, really fascinating story. Check that out on Jacob's Twitter, twitter.com/JacobWolf, @JacobWolf. And also just go to Dot Esports. It'll be one of the first things on there. Thank you so much for joining us, Jacob. You are the best. Really appreciate having you here. If this is your first time joining us, if you maybe came in to hear some of Jacob's wild stories, you've never seen us before, we do the show every Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, live here from Bar Coffeebreath. We're always here on twitch.tv/coffeebreath. If you haven't yet, hit us with a follow up there so that you don't miss any of our streams. Every Friday night, we're up to something new here at the bar, some new shit. We're causing some, you know what I like to say, we're causing some mud. We're just causing some mud here at the bar.
What does that mean?
That just means you're causing mud. Well, every Friday night at the bar, we're here live, and if you aren't able to join us, I know it's a little bit late for you East Coast folks, so you can type !YouTube in the chat or look at the link in the description to get to our YouTube page, where I post the VOD of this show every day after it airs. So if you
Saturday.
Yes, the Saturday after the Friday in which we're live. And if you're watching on there, thank you, like and subscribe and all that. Appreciate you joining us and sticking around for the whole episode. What else? Oh, fuck, I didn't, oh, shit, I forgot to plug the merch.
Oh, the merch!
Fuck, sorry, we do have a merch store now open.
Use a promo
and I did set up a
code.
special promo code just for this weekend. Use promo code WOLFBOMB to get 10% off of your order on the Coffee Breath merch store. You can type !merch in the chat to get the link to that. Or the link is in the description as well for the YouTube video. That'll be active throughout the course of this weekend. So if you watch the VOD tomorrow, you still have time to check out the Coffee Breath merch store. This does support the channel and gets some fine quality merchandise, stickers, bags, jackets. I think I have a hat. No, I don't have a hat. Never mind. I lied. Sorry, we didn't do the hat.
We have the cool mugs though.
Yeah, the mugs. These ones. Yeah, you can get those.
Jacob,
there.
your mug up.
Yeah, Jacob, put your mug up. We got
Come
your
on.
mug there. Yeah.
Pick it up.
Yeah. Oh wait. Oh, look at that. Whoa, Jacob, your arms are long, dude. Your arms are long. Thank you all for joining us.
From Texas to Los Angeles.
Thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Coffee Breath Show. We'll see you next Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific. Shout out to Jacob. Please,
Jacob!
give him your thanks for joining us tonight and for sharing some of his excellent esports stories. And we will see him again another time. We will see you all again here on twitch.tv/coffeebreath. Up.
Dan, are you good? Anyway, I'm supposed to do the visuals.
Oh, wait, no, that's my cue to end it. Good night, everyone.